Welcome to the Real College Life podcast. My name is Ryan Nadel, and this is a pretty exciting episode because I'm sitting with 3 interns with Cru in central Wisconsin this year. And if you're not familiar with the Cru structure, Cru offers internships for people who have graduated from college as a way to kind of continue ministry into your career life and kind of explore ministry options. So before I go any further, I'd like you guys to introduce yourselves, and we can talk about what it means to be an intern. So, Lauren, go ahead.
I am first and last name.
Sure, and maybe like what you went to school for and hometown or whatever.
Okay. My name is Lauren Hazard. Oh, that's so fun saying. I just got married, so that's why it's fun saying that. I went to school here at UWSP. I graduated in 2023 with a major in natural resource management and a minor in environmental education. And this will be my second year of interning. I originally came from Minnesota. My hometown is Shakopee.
Nice.
All right. My name is Seth Smith. I graduated in December of 2023 with a history and social studies education degree and a minor in Spanish. This will be my first year interning. My hometown is North Prairie, Wisconsin. Really in the middle of nowhere. It's by Waukesha, if you've heard of that.
Sweet. It's a wonderful place. So how far from Milwaukee is North Prairie?
Milwaukee? 30 to 45 minutes, depending on where you want to go. Like, if you want to get to the coast, it's going to be like an hour. But to get to Milwaukee territory, you could get there in like 35 minutes.
Okay. So not far from Milwaukee.
It's not too far. I just don't like to say that I'm super close to Milwaukee because that usually gives people a very different picture. I'm way out in the suburbs.
Yeah. Very cool.
All right. Yeah, I'm Chloe Lighthold. I just graduated in the spring, so spring of 2024, and I graduated with degrees in business management and finance. And yeah, I'm from Onalaska, which is right in the La Crosse area.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. And we were talking before we got this thing going about Spanish class and our Spanish names. Chloe, what was your Spanish name?
Clara.
Clara. How many years of Spanish did you have?
4.
4 years.
Yeah.
And were you like a straight A Spanish student?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember anything, but yeah, at the time, yeah.
So while you were in it,
Yeah.
you got A's. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember knowing some like stuff at some point, but it's all gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seth, did you have Spanish? You had Spanish?
Yeah, I minored in Spanish. I studied it for 9 years.
I knew that since we were hanging out.
I didn't know that.
So are you like fluent?
No, nowhere close.
Okay.
I could probably hold a conversation with somebody, but speaking would take a lot of effort to like come up with the right words and conjugate verbs properly.
Yeah.
But I did write a 10-page paper in Spanish.
Yeah, that
so
counts
I don't know
for-
where that skill went though. That was a year ago.
Okay. Yeah. What was your Spanish name?
My Spanish name? Well, I had 2 actually.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no way.
Wow.
So I was Guillermo in my 7th grade year, and then I was Ramon in 8th grade, and then we didn't do Spanish names for the entire rest of high school.
Yeah.
So I
Wow.
was Ramon, and then I was just Seth. It's really interesting though, because I went to Guatemala, and it's like, oh, how do you say this name? And it's like Joshua is like Yeshua, or like close to that,
Safe.
or there's just like Jose, and it's just Seth. Like that's it.
It wasn't-
change the E.
Yeah. Did you like leave your first Spanish name because you had a troubled like year of 7th grade and you needed to like get that behind you, and so you just picked a fresh name?
No, I just
Like a
didn't
new
like how long it
identity.
was.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot easier to write Ramon. It's 5
I
letters.
pictured it like a new identity. Like, yeah, it was a real messed up. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't think that hard about most things in 8th grade, so
None of us really did. What was your Spanish name?
Mine was Talia. But
Talia?
again, like
Aw.
Seth, it was 7th and 8th grade. I started Spanish in 7th grade. No, it was 8th grade, and I did it through my senior year. So like 5 years of Spanish. I know some nouns still because that was like pounded in right away.
Mm.
And then I don't know conjugations. I don't know verbs super well, but I could get past like if I saw like a street sign with some Spanish on it, I could probably get somewhere. But a conversation or a sentence is probably really hard. But
Wait, low-key me too, 7th grade. Forgot about middle school.
Yeah.
What about you?
So my Spanish name was Parachoque, and that's because if you grew up around me in Manitowoc, you may not know that my real name was Ryan, and you would have known me as Bumper. And Parachoque means like as you said, Seth, for, and then for hitting, like choke is hit.
Oh.
So my Spanish teacher in 9th grade decided that he wanted to call me instead of my first name, which was Raul, that he wanted to call me Para Choque. And so that's what.
Which is like a car bumper.
Car bumper, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So it's fun fact.
Fun.
It's fun fact. So we are talking about Cru internships, and we're talking about as we welcome freshmen onto campus, and just our heart with Cru is to be engaging students in spiritual life, spiritual conversations. And as we're doing that, you three are kind of taking this big step. Lauren, this is your second year. Seth and Chloe, this is your first year. You're taking this big step into an internship with Cru. And I guess the first obvious question would be, why have you chosen to do this, or what's motivating you to want to do this? You don't all have to.
I can go first.
All right.
Yeah, I kind of decided my senior year I wanted to intern with Cru. I think my senior year, it's just like where I wanted to be, was doing Cru for everything. Like it just became the top of my list. I just wanted to keep reaching students. I wanted to go to all the Bible studies. I wanted to go to prayer team, and pretty soon, like I was just like, I want to do this full time. And I would actually say discipleship is kind of the turning point for me, where.
Okay, so what is like if you're hearing that for the first time, what is discipleship, or what is that idea? Or
yeah, it's kind of like walking with a student who's maybe a little bit younger in their faith,
right?
And just walking through life and the Bible with them, and just being someone who's there for them. And it's just more of like a personal relationship with this person and helping them grow in their relationship with the Lord. Yeah. And I saw how I was impacting her and discipling her. And I saw like how I was when I was a freshman, sophomore, being discipled by someone else older in the faith. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can be that person who I needed so much in my life. My sophomore and junior year, and that was just so cool. And I think there's just a fire in me, like, okay, this is totally something I want to keep doing. Yeah, it's kind of pretty sporadic, but hopefully
great.
Across.
Where did you have like an aha moment, or did you have like a subtle, like
pretty slow burn?
All right.
Yeah, I think I kept testing it out in my head, like, I'm just gonna start saying I'm gonna intern, and then pretty soon I was like, all right, we're doing it, like this is great. I think I always knew I wanted to do it. I was just scared to take that leap of faith, and I announced it at winter conference, and I was like, okay, let's do this. And yeah,
that's awesome. How about you, Seth?
I would say it was definitely a slow burn building up to an epiphany moment, where in Australia, I went on the Australia summer mission. So I was in the city of Perth for a month, and we did a lot of evangelism there. So I was sharing the gospel with people. I was telling people about Jesus. I was sharing my faith and what I believed and why I believed it. And as I got to the end of that month, I just wanted to keep doing that more. And it was basically the only thing that I did while in Australia. So it was full-time ministry. It was mostly evangelism ministry, but it was still full-time ministry. And that's where I started thinking, like, okay, maybe I could do this. And then I got back from Australia and started student teaching. So my thought was, regardless of what else I do next year, I should at least get my degree first. So I focused on that for a while, but it's kind of rolling around in the back of my head now. And then I went to Fall Getaway in October, and that was kind of the epiphany moment of I was back in the Cru community, because I was student teaching down in southeastern Wisconsin. So I wasn't in the Stevens Point Cru community in the fall, but throwing myself back into it at Fall Getaway was kind of the aha moment of, oh no, this is where I want to be. This is where God wants me right now. Like, not in the exact moment, because I still need to finish student teaching, getting my degree, but God wants me back here. And then throughout the next few months of finalizing that decision, I saw a lot of doors close for me in the world of education, and then a lot of doors open for me to intern. So a lot of the skills I've learned over the past 4 years definitely transfer over from school to ministry, but I think seeing God close a lot of doors in one field and open them in another was probably one of the biggest like confirming moments
Mhm.
for me.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
I think that's crazy because like your guys' stories are kind of like combine those and that's mine. It's like doors were closing toward the end of my senior year looking for a job, but I was also wrestling with I really feel ministry would be a huge fit for me, and I'm not feeling super established in a local church. And so, although that could have been an option in a different reality, that didn't seem like a good fit for me. And so, Cru was something that really, like you were saying, Chloe, really poured into me. And I didn't feel this obligation like I need to give back to Cru, and so I'll intern in that way. But it was more of I was so impacted by what Cru did for me. And even just looking on my college career, I'm happy that there is more. It doesn't seem like it. You pay for college to get a degree for the schooling, and then you have the extracurriculars on the side. And I definitely have to say that I walked out of college with more than just a degree, and it's not just friendships or experiences, but I wouldn't have had Cru if I didn't go to this specific college and had this specific experience with these people and was discipled by who I was discipled by, like Chloe was saying, and just feeling that impact. And I was very grateful to come out of school and wanting to go back onto campus, not solely for what I went to school for. And from my personal experience, that was hard to get past, like a hurdle with my parents. My parents aren't very fond of the interning ministry world, so me doing this is not a huge thing that they are proud to see me in, but I definitely didn't. I let that hold me back for a bit, and that was kind of like the back and forth feeling of should I do this, should I not do this, who am I pleasing with this decision? And so coming upon my second year after year one being so impactful on me, and also just the impact I was able to make on the campus with students in many different facets, it was cool to come to year two and be like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. I'm going to do it again because it was super fun. And it's more of God hasn't opened a door in a different direction, so why not stay where I'm at instead of seeking out, a different thing I could do, but allowing God to keep me where I'm at. So kind of my answer for year two.
Yeah. How do you feel like, Lauren, I mean, how did you feel like you saw God use you last year? Like, how do you feel like the internship was beneficial to impacting people for Jesus? Like, what did you see? What were some things you felt like happened that made you want to intern a second year?
Yeah, I would say similar to what you said, Chloe. I think one of the biggest reasons I interned was for the discipleship factor. And so as a student, getting a taste of discipleship with one or two girls, I think I discipled up to 4 my senior year. I had more capacity, but getting able to disciple up to 10 girls this last year and just seeing the impact at whatever stage of their faith or life or age they were at, just watching them grow, not just in Cru. That's honestly like, yeah, we're here for Cru, but it's bigger than that. And just seeing the impact that they're like so enthusiastic about their relationship with God. And it's not about keeping them within the Cru bubble, but like, where are you going to be after graduation? Where do you see yourself impacting other people, not just yourself? So seeing the perpetuation of pouring into students that pour into other students, I think was so life-bringing to me. And just to even, speak to students that I may be more spiritually mature than, but then seeing their reaction with working with others or evangelizing or running events, and then not that they're impacting my life on like a spiritual growth, but just their interest and enthusiasm in that boosted my interest in ministry. I don't know, like being in it for 20 some years for you, you probably see that reciprocated a lot.
Well, I mean, I think it's special. It's uniquely special in the world to have an environment where you can bring on people like yourselves with like limited ministry experience and actually say you're going to probably see somebody's life get changed this year. And, I can definitely say somebody's life is going to be more spiritually robust as a result of your ministries in really significant ways. But, and we were talking about this earlier today, but it comes with a cost. Like it's doing ministry on campus is not easy. College students, we were all there at one point. We dealt with hard things. It's challenging to be a student, and entering into the fray with students is also challenging. And so in a lot of ways, what you guys want to do this year is very heroic in terms of, wanting to journey with students. And I think in some ways in the modern culture, we've lost that heroicism, and I think it's bad. I think it's really bad that, occupations that look to really help people are not where we necessarily they're not always looked at as the greatest jobs in the world. And I think we need to get back to a place as a culture where we are really looking to have occupations that want to help people, which is what you guys are doing. So I think of you guys as heroes. I think of you guys as heroes in your generation. I think you are taking a noble and courageous and sometimes very difficult step to be where you're at. I think it's pretty special. That being said, I'm curious, Chloe, as you think about the fall, if there was a freshman listening to this right now, or an incoming freshman at UWSP or at some other campus, why are you excited about the fall? What's going to happen in the next few weeks that you're excited for?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty busy just with all the welcome week events we have going on. It's a really great time for freshmen to really put themselves out there and meet new people. There's so many events we have going on, and there's so many different people and who want to make friends and find this community. It can be pretty scary at first, but I'm just so excited to meet new students and just find this whole new wave of freshmen, people who want to know Jesus. I don't know if that's...
Well, that's great. That's great. Seth, do you have anything to add to that?
As somebody who has been out of Stevens Point for a year, there's a lot of students who are currently involved with Cru that I don't know, and that's also on top of all the students that are going to join and get involved this semester. So I'm just really excited to meet everybody because I love people and talking with people. So the fact that I have even more new people than most other people in this room right now, that's very exciting for me to get to meet all these new people.
That's good. That's good. Lauren, what are you thinking about as you start the fall?
I'm just excited. Thinking back to my freshman year, getting involved with Welcome Week events, I would say I'm kind of that in-between introvert-extrovert, so it wasn't hard for me to want to join, say, a group on campus playing beach volleyball or something like that, but I think the position that we're in as staff/interns, it's cool to be on the flip side and be the ones doing the inviting, because not everyone is that outgoing person. And so maybe thinking back to how if you guys are different than me freshman year and you would never join an event unless if you felt included or felt invited to do it. And so just being that person in someone's life, that changes their whole year sometimes. And just thinking on how much of an impact just inviting someone or giving them a flyer of hey, we have this event, I'd love to see you there. That's so special to people. And in certain environments, I definitely felt the need for a push like that or an invite in that way. And so I'm just excited to be that for people. And just how much of an impact that can make on someone's whole trajectory in college.
Yeah. We're sitting in front of 400 cans of bubbler that we're going to be giving away on campus in a few weeks, and just doing whatever we can to let people know we're on campus and that we're a resource for them in really fun ways. And a lot of the ways that we do that are very fun. And so, it is a really exciting time. But when I think about why the four of us are sitting here, and obviously I was a few decades before all y'all.
It's okay.
But I think we all had moments in our college career where we uniquely connected with God. Special moments, special times where kind of God revealed himself to us in a unique way. When I say that, I'm curious if you guys could share a moment where, God used Cru, however it might have been, friends, relationships, to reveal himself to you uniquely. Was there a moment where you can kind of go back and think about that?
Yeah, I have one. So back to the discipleship kind of talk. I had a discipler that knew I was going through a couple things internally, in like an emotional state. Within my first 2 years, I can't pinpoint the exact year, but just I think a huge turning point for me with even getting involved with Cru and leadership was just knowing how greatly that person pushed me in a love and truth environment. And it wasn't like they were there to tell me what I wanted to hear, but they cared about me so much and deeply cared about the relationship that we had and my relationship with God, most importantly. But they pushed me in a way that they knew I would respond to, but also where they challenged me because they knew that challenging me in truth and grace was like the only way to help me grow out of a situation I was stuck in myself. And so to have someone that gave their however much time a week to pour into me was super impactful. And I saw how greatly Cru impacted not only me, but other students just like me in similar situations, maybe on campus. And so that really helped me dive more into like, Cru really does care about me. And these people are choosing to do a job where they give themselves up, their time, their energy to pour into me and actually care about my well-being and my spirituality in, my faith walk, and not just, push me along to get me through college, but actually deeply care about my soul in a way that it's hard these days to kind of see that in true people. So I was really impacted by that.
Yeah, that's super helpful, Lauren. Seth, was there ever a time in your college career where you felt like, God uniquely used Cru to kind of meet you where you were at?
Yeah, mine was a very similar story to Lauren's. This was my sophomore year. I was a sophomore doing a senior level research project. I don't know how my advisor let me do that, but it was a 20-page historical research paper. I just experienced a loss in the family. My grandpa died suddenly, like within the span of a week of like health complications. So it was just a completely unexpected situation. And I was also involved in like 4 different teams in Cru and had a part-time job on top of all of my classes. So even though it was technically a 15-credit semester, it felt more like an 18-credit semester because a 20-page research paper.
Was this in the middle of COVID too? Like,
this was spring of 2022.
Okay, so it was a little later.
So it was a little bit post-COVID, but still a lot going on.
Yeah.
And it was at that point where my discipler sat me down and basically asked me, "How are you doing?" And don't just say fine. And that was when I realized that these people didn't just use me to like use my time and use my skills to like crank through the ministry machine. It was, they actually care about my well-being. Like my skills are valued, but that's not the only thing I'm valued for. I'm valued for being a human being. So with all of the emotional stress through various sources, my discipler helped me realize it's okay to say no to things and to step back from certain things if you need to.
And those are great life skills.
Yeah. And that was really, really helpful. And that moment has come back again and again of like, it's okay for me to say no to certain things, because if I don't have the capacity for something, it's not fair to other people for me to stretch myself out and do the rest of my things not optimally. That's just not a good way to live life, stretching yourself out so thin that you can't do anything well.
I think college really does that to you. Like you have new lows of tiredness and exhaustedness in college, so it's easy to stretch yourself thin trying to just, I can do this, I can add this to my schedule. So that's so real.
Learning limits. That'd be a great episode. We'll have to do that sometime in the future. How about you, Chloe?
Yeah. The first example that comes to mind is just how I got involved with Cru. So my freshman year of college, it was the COVID year. I think you were a freshman with me, Seth, I'm guessing. Yeah.
All of 2020.
Yeah. So there wasn't that many people on campus, and I just had a really hard time making friends. And I also was a music minor my freshman year. And if you haven't been in the music department of any school, like even if you're just a minor, it's so much time and energy. Like you have to be in the practice room like 2 hours a day or something like that. I probably wasn't, but you probably were supposed to be. And there was times where I would like, it was just not going my way. Like I like ran out of the room crying after like we had performance assessments in front of the class. And I just like realized I put so much of my identity in like music things just because I come from a pretty musical family. And so then I just remember praying like, God, why is this happening to me? I thought this was a talent you gave me. I thought this was something I was supposed to continue doing. And then I dropped my music minor, and that was like honestly the best decision I've ever made. Like, I don't miss it at all. And it gave me time to really like reevaluate what my relationship with the Lord is. And I started coming to Cru again. And I only went like once or twice my freshman year, but coming back my sophomore year and just hearing the gospel clearly explained and being surrounded by people who love Jesus and who remembered me from the 2 times I came freshman
cool.
year, was just so awesome. And it was just the community and the people who connected me with the discipler, and it was just what I needed in my life at the time, and God put that in my life.
Well, yeah, and I think when I think about what we do on campus, as a student, there are so many moments where Jesus connected with my heart through this ministry, drawing me out of kind of this self-centered, self-focused life and drawing me into a Christ-centered life, and then helping me have community with people who were doing the same thing. And I drive around campus a lot now and still think about how significant that was, the relationships, specifically second semester of my freshman year into first semester of my sophomore year, where life had a cohesion that I've never experienced before. And in the book of Revelation, it talks about not losing your first love. And I think about how, for me, Jesus used Cru to kind of help me understand my love for him and his love for me, and what it means to just walk free in that. But then also be able to see kind of this beautiful call that God puts in our life to go and make disciples of all nations. And that was a really cohesive experience for me, where I was able to build my life, center my life around Jesus for the first time, and have community, have a group of friends who were kind of cheering that on, and then go out to different places on campus and also in the world and do the work Jesus was calling me to do and be a part of that. Those are special things. And so I'm really grateful for you, for the 3 of you, and you guys being a part of this with us. I'm really looking forward to locking arms, having a few more podcast episodes down the line. But what I want anyone who's listening to this to understand is that, in this day and age where Christianity and religion might not feel like young people really care about it, there are a lot of college and post-college age people who are engaging, re-engaging, or engaging for the first time in faith life, because people are seeing the significance of faith life both in college and after college. And I think you 3 are an evidence to the fact that God is doing something unique in this generation, and God is going to continue to build what He's building. And as we put ourselves in a position to lay down our lives, like has been the call of Cru, honestly, since the beginning, of just complete surrender to what Jesus wants us to be doing.